Good morning, fans. Welcome to PWR Today. Tuesday morning is coming up right after Raw. It's August 4th, 2020. I'm the man they call Meathead, and you know what? We got things to talk about today. We've got some hot news to talk about today. Dave Hero, out of town, out on business. He's got hot news coming up during the week if you've been paying attention to his socials. So filling in for him this morning. You know, it was so nice. We thought we'd do it twice this week. Linda Kay. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Meathead. It's a double dose this week in August.
Giving you a double shot.
Right.
Yeah, Dave Hero not able to make it. He's down in Louisville. I am not from Louisville, but, you know, until I started talking to people from Louisville, I pronounced it Louisville, and then I was corrected quickly. So he's down in Louisville with the Calinator 5000 and Uncle Al Snow as well. OVW business. So that is being handled as we speak. Linda, you know, Dave had complained for weeks on end that he was booked into the terrible spot. And last night we had action on Raw. I don't know what to say about it yet. We're going to get there, but we have things to talk about for a Tuesday morning.
Exactly. I must say last night's Raw was one of the most bizarre Raws I've ever witnessed, or at least in recent times, but it was a nice change of pace. I'll say that. You know, we'll switch it up a bit. We'll give some more positive light to the previous Raw today, but yeah, it was very bizarre, but as we've said in the past, I didn't not like it.
Just, you know, the power of positivity is going to take over here tonight.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk positive, right? Let's talk Raw. We were positive that the show was going to open up with a title match. It was going to be MVP taking on the returning United States champion and officially recognized U.S. champ Apollo Crews. Great promo. I really do like what they did with MVP. And I thought that business was handled and business was taken care of. The winner of the match, and still technically new, but still your United States champion, Apollo Crews, backstage promo after says that, you know what, this is for my kids. I'm going to give them this one that I won, let it hang them over their bedrooms, you know, their beds, and I'm going to carry this around and defend it. So I took the one that MVP paid for, and that's the one I defend now. Good story to that. I really thought that was explained well. Your thoughts?
Yes. You know, I had a feeling this would continue on to SummerSlam, and you know, we left off with yesterday's show, like what's going to happen with both of the United States Championship belts. Is it going to be somebody two belts, those straps? But we know that the previous belt is now going to be retired, so to speak, and now we've got this new title. And despite MVP losing that match last night, it still put him on a pedestal to really show how great his return to WWE has been, not just as a talker, as a mouthpiece for his Hurt Business, but just as a wrestler himself and everything, his swag, his persona. This loss to Apollo Crews last night didn't hurt him because, as we'll get into, it'll set him up and his Hurt Business into a higher level. And he is going to get his rematch at SummerSlam anyway. So that was a great way to open up Raw and officially find out what would happen with the U.S. title, the official one, that is.
Yeah, let's talk about the PWR draft that happened in April after WrestleMania, right before I think it was Backlash. No one had MVP on their radar, and now looking over the last 4 months, this is the guy we should have picked up because he's appeared on damn near every program.
Right, he's like, you know, I picked Selena Vega for, you know, appearance points being a big factor why she was my number one pick. Coulda, shoulda, maybe can still do that with MVP.
Well, MVP comes back after the break and says that, you know what, I'm going to get that rematch at SummerSlam. And, you know, I'm calling shenanigans. I mean, those aren't his words, they're my words. But he basically said, I'm calling shenanigans. And we're going to find out a little bit later in the program that maybe there was shenanigans. The Iconics are back, and while I love the Iconics, I've been meaning to say this on air. I don't know if I said this on the air, and this is meant as no disrespect at all, but it's been bugging me, Linda. It has been bugging me. So it's Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, right?
Yes.
Peyton is the blonde now, and Billy is the dark hair?
Correct.
Do you ever want to just buy insurance? Have I mentioned that before on here? I keep seeing Flo.
No, you have not, at least with me. And when you mentioned insurance, I knew where you were going with this. And yeah, are you saying that
They
they
look
were
similar to
morphed?
me. When
They
I
were morphed
watch the
together.
full Progressive insurance commercials, I think WWE. And when I watch WWE, I want to get some insurance, some homeowners, or some motorcycle insurance.
Okay, okay. I never thought about that, but now that you mentioned it, now I'm going to think of Flo every time I see the Iconics as well.
Yeah, those commercials are iconic, and their performances are iconic. A couple microphone problems in the ring during the KO show, but Ruby Riot and I hope we don't have another moment
Liv,
yesterday when we went off the air and I get a text message with her name, Sonya Deville, who is Ruby Riot's partner.
Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan. Thank God, because I don't need a text going, ugh, we failed them again. So Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan set up a match between them and the Iconics. Your thoughts on the whole thing and the way it went down?
Um, I wasn't sure what would happen with Liv coming out. I thought maybe they'd make her this as the heel now instead of Ruby. But then again, Ruby, you weren't sure if she was heel or face these last couple of weeks either. More so face, but kind of like a Big Show switch, kind of flip flopping back and forth. But then with the Iconics coming out, and then seeing Liv and Ruby, help each other out and pair up nicely in the match again, that got me just looking at the two, and I was like, I said it out loud to myself. I said, I like this. I like how they look together. I like them better as a tag team if they are going to be indeed a tag team instead of when they were a trio as a Riot Squad. But it's nice to see Liv Morgan back and Ruby Riot. And, she's been on every week, and I didn't see much happening with her and Bianca Belair. So with Liv back, now I can see this. All right, they look good together. They obviously have chemistry. I mean, they're obviously with the Riot Squad, and they can really make something out of this. And if they want to make it a Riot Squad and Iconics duel or matchup, excuse me, I'm in for it because the Iconics have been doing their thing by trying to annoy everybody, and they've been really on Ruby these past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Now Ruby's getting her chance to rise above them.
There was a three-way match between R-Truth, Tozawa, and Shelton Benjamin. But really what comes out of it is Tozawa is now the new 24/7 champion. Shelton lost his belt, so technically he lost it, but they were going to wrestle for it later. That was a little screwy for me. But yeah. Akira Tozawa is now the 24/7 champion. R-Truth doesn't have his baby back yet, but he'll get it back at some point. So there's another guy I thought about for the draft that we should have got. But then again, does it give you more points to win, or is it equal to losing? Because if it's more points to win, he's obviously going to win again and again and again. But I'm just glad nobody has him because the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe would not want to have to keep doing that math.
Oh, yeah. And it's just so wishy-washy if he's going to win it and then lose it and then win it and lose it again in the same pay-per-view even. So, but now we got our three-time 24/7 champ, Akira Tozawa. And R-Truth, he's a what amount champion with the 24/7 title?
He's got to be in his 30s now as far as championship reigns.
Something like that, yeah.
But you know what? It's okay because the Hardcore Championship was like that too. The 24/7 Championship, I don't hate it anymore. I remember when Mick Foley came out and brought it out, but I don't hate it. R-Truth has really made that belt something versus it could have been nothing. So really, that's R-Truth's championship belt, and he just fights to get it back and then loses it and fights to get it back again. So, if he ever retires, they ought to call it the Memorial, the R-Truth Memorial belt because he's really the one that made it.
Yes, absolutely. But I love R-Truth. And again, it just, having the veterans shine, it's been great seeing R-Truth out every week. I mean, he's hilarious.
And I know you and I didn't talk about the R-Truth game show yet, but have you been watching?
No, I haven't. I saw that promo for it tonight, and
it's fun.
Like, wow. Okay.
It's fun. There was a segment where he's talking to Natalia, and it's a scavenger hunt, and it's through Skype or Zoom or whatever. And he goes, "Okay, give me a piece of used birthday cake or leftover birthday cake." She goes, "I don't have any birthday cake around it." "Well, no points for you. Give me something with a Canadian flag on it." And she goes, "Okay, I can find some. TJ's got some around here. Okay, here we go." It was just fun. I mean, really. Talking to Drew McIntyre, chasing around, how many cats, and R-Truth apparently can't stand cats. So it's fun to watch. I absolutely love the show. It's we're not going to break down every episode of it, but I mean, it's a fun watch.
Oh, thank you, because I will make sure to put that on or pencil that in. I
There you
love
go.
game shows.
All right, Sasha Banks and Shayna Baszler. Baszler back, and Baszler punched Bailey across the jaw.
All right.
I mean, it wasn't a wrestling punch. That looked like a straight punch right to the back of the jaw. And that set up a Sasha Banks Baszler match, which really ended in shenanigans. What were your thoughts?
I was surprised by that because I thought we would see more Baszler, Nia Jax. I know we saw Nia Jax in a different format tonight in her segment, but it kind of made me think like, is Shayna and Asuka gonna pair up against Sasha and Bailey at some point? I know like she came out and said like I want to Asuka, I want you to win that title so that we can face each other, but
Right.
that just kind of jumped ahead a lot. Like I wasn't really sure why they.
Somebody held down the fast forward button on that one. You're right, and then it skipped ahead 4 times, like on a cable box.
And then Sasha and Bailey came right back out after that match, and I was like, wait, what?
Right, exactly. It was weird. There was a little promo in the back. Now, do you watch The Bachelor?
Yes, I do. Actually, when they showed Demi, I was like, where do I know?
Oh, so you know who that is? Because
I do.
just like Jeff Dunham's one character, right over the top of my head. I have no idea.
It was so random. I don't see the association between the Bachelor franchise and WWE. But
well, just to make sure that she knew that she was from The Bachelor, she had a rose with her. Does that mean that she's from The Bachelor?
Well, she got that from shoot. Oh no, here we go again.
Don't ask me for help because I don't know.
Well, she got the rose, and
I'll tell you what. The last show I think
Angel Garza.
There you go. Oh, wrestler. I thought you meant from the Bachelor show. The last show I watched on ABC consistently. Designated Survivor. That's it. I don't watch ABC. There's nothing on there for me.
Oh, I watch Bachelor and Dancing with the Stars.
That's okay. Good luck with that.
Because Raw, I have to watch a lot.
Okay.
Those are Monday night shows,
But this sets up 2 singles matches. The Street Profits and Garza and Andrade are going to be wrestling for the tag team championships. Garza defeats Dawkins. Andrade and Montez Ford were going at it. Ford does his hype up Ultimate Warrior move off the ropes and then collapses in the ring. It is said to be poison. I don't like what I got from Bianca Belair. If my husband or my wife, whatever, had been poisoned, I'm not going to be talking. I'm not going to slowly take. I mean, it's go time. Go right now. That was not right. It did not work for me.
Well, I'll say it worked for me, just because we at one point did see a little heat between Bianca and Selena Vega. It was right. It was at WrestleMania, right, or right after that when Bianca made.
But it was too slow. If I come out of the training room,
well, I think she was just still in disbelief. Like, what a despicable act that was. That they.
It's wrestling. It should have been go time.
True, but she had to take her earrings off. That's like a girl fight.
Oh, I get it. I've watched it. I'm surprised she didn't pull off her Lee press-ons.
But yeah, that I like that little spiff backstage. That was cool to see. I wasn't expecting a poisoning happening, but I'm glad it's something that.
Okay. So I'm going to skip over Shane and come back to the Shane stuff.
Okay.
Seth Rollins. Issues with Dominic and actually issues with Tom Phillips. Joe was standing in the way, and Joe did a great promo talking straight at Seth while he's pointing at Murphy to his side, and I'm going to knock your boy out too.
Right.
Joe didn't answer why he didn't get back in the ring. I mean, are we led to believe that Joe was out there setting it up for Dominic, or that once Dominic was there, I better go back and do my job? That didn't get answered for me, and it was a little weird.
Yeah, so they got back from the break and he was still outside the ring. Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking like, oh, is he, relieved of his commentary duties? Is he fully recovered from his injuries?
Right.
I wasn't sure. That was the whole thing with Tom Phillips too. That kind of got me wondering, like, what was the point of that if Joe wasn't actually gonna get his hands on Rollins?
It was odd. Now, like I said, it skipped over it, but let's come back to it. 9:00, Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, top of hour 3, was Raw Underground. We saw them mixing it up a little bit before it started. Oh, maybe an underground shoot fighting. They have the ropes. I always wondered about the second ring in the background, and I said, why aren't they using that for something? So there they are. They took the ring posts off, or actually didn't take the ring posts off. They just took the ropes off. So you've got the mat there. You've got one of the referees just, in regular shirt with gloves on, and you got people around the ring stomping underground fighting. Okay, cool. If this is legitimate, I mean, this is Brawl for All. If this is, worked WWE stuff, blech. So they bring in the 7-foot dude that just blows through people. Cool. Come back. We'll see more. They have these two guys going at it. Cool. We come back for more. And there's Dolph Ziggler wrestling. It was one of the Viking Raiders. I apologize. Yeah. It was Eric in the second segment with a nice fight. I mean, maybe that's a way to relaunch him. Is this just... I know you had this beef with it, and I have beef with it too. Literally, just the shot to the 3 girls. Oh, yeah. And look at that. And there's girls. I mean, because Linda, I don't know what your life has been, but I've been in a couple of nightclubs before. I've seen girls dancing up on stage and in cages. Yeah. It doesn't go like that. As myself,
I've witnessed that as well. Yes.
Okay. Well, whatever. I mean, come on. Was this like a throwback to the Nitro girls, in the stripper cages? Was this what was this?
I don't know, but that music got me too. Like every time they'd flip to it, I was just like, what am I seeing? Like it was the music and then the constant cutbacks to the girls. And I was like, are they strippers? Are they go-go dancers? I mean, it was nice. Well, why not? This is an underground thing going on, but the whole thing was just, again, so bizarre.
And the strippers would have been real, I mean, in 2020 if they would have had masks on.
Right, exactly. So I was kind of confused by that. I was
maybe they're just dancers. Maybe they're not strippers. Maybe they don't take the clothes off. Maybe they just
go-go dancers, yes.
Yeah, go-go dancers. There you go. Right. Like in Austin Powers, in the 60s, they had go-go dancers.
Correct, exactly. But then I was just like, in the underground fight clubs, are there girls dancing there too? Or like
the girls going to fight next week? I mean,
yes, maybe. Yeah, but then I wasn't expecting to see Eric and Viking Raiders. I definitely was expecting to see Dolph Ziggler in the mix. I was like, okay, so now it's not seeming so underground, so fight club as we were first led to think. I mean, it was such a surprise overall. Like when they were promoting it earlier on Raw, saying this was the brainchild of Shane McMahon, and I was just like, oh.
Well, Shane had always wanted to get into the UFC. He's always felt that. And if this is the WWE Shane's version of the UFC, it's still a work, and that bothers me. You and me personally, we probably want real fighting. I mean, I know that you're practicing your Muay Thai. I want to see some real fighting. I'm not trying to see anybody get hurt, but give me. It's not an octagon. Give me go back to circa 1997, 1998 when you had Shamrock and Dan Severn, in the WWE. Give me that. Where they were shoot fighting. I don't know what this was. And it was set up for the Hurt Business, basically. And if this whole thing is just meant to build Bobby, great. Let's see what it does. Because Bobby is, was it Bellator or where did he work?
Yeah, he was at Bellator.
Bellator? Okay, because I know when he was in Impact, he was also fighting at Bellator as well. But, I mean, great. If that's the thing, cool. Let's get it going. I like the Hurt Business. Business is booming. I really do enjoy. This is the new group, the new faction we were promised before the show, even though I always thought they were already. I thought we were getting something else. I read a story about Dominik Dijakovic had said something about he deleted his entire Twitter line. Maybe he was getting ready to debut. I don't know. But, hey, MVP, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin. It's interesting to me, and I'd like to see Bobby get in there and fight.
Exactly. And Shay did say we'll see you back underground next week. But the Hurt Business, man, I'm really loving them. And they got the look. I mean, just them in their suits. When they first went to the underground room and were in their suits, Bobby got in, I was like, oh, better be careful of the clothing there. But he did his thing, and all of them dominated, every guy that they faced and cleared out the room, literally.
I don't know MVP's background, but I do know that Shelton and Bobby have amateur wrestling backgrounds as well. Shelton was University of Minnesota along with Brock Lesnar. I think they were teammates. Yeah. And then Bobby was a United States champion for the Marines or Army. It might have been an Army champion, but he was a military champion.
Yes. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because while I was watching the MVP match to kick off Raw, I was noticing some jiu-jitsu moves that him and Apollo Crews are doing, more so MVP, and then him taking the strikes. I've been watching definitely a lot more UFC, especially without as many sports, like besides WWE and UFC when those were the
only our Brewers were on last night.
Well, yes, they were. But probably like during, the what we talked about yesterday morning, the hashtag that we didn't mention it all today, so I don't want to. I'm
trying not to.
Yeah, but definitely watching a lot more UFC and seeing a lot more of that being done. And now we have Shane McMahon's Raw Underground, where I'm seeing it more. And we talked to how this kind of came to fruition with MVP losing, and then with Shelton Benjamin losing, that it just brought all of them to the top pedestal.
Oh, the shenanigans to the power and the power supply too, throwing the little bottle rockets at the power supply.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, what was
that? They were throwing flying stars because it was the ninjas, right?
I thought that, but then I kind of looked harder, and I'm like when MVP talked about it during his interview with Charlie Caruso, he was just mentioning. He didn't say the ninjas. I think they might have been other guys dressed up in all black during one of those Molotov bottles.
Molotov cocktails.
Cocktails, thank you. That was just a weird thing too. I mean, it started off with like the power going on and off, but then again, it kind of related to, the Hurt Business shining in the end. But now that I think about it, all right, the ninjas did help Akira Tozawa win, so maybe it was them. I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows?
It just sounded like it would have been them if you listened to the audio really well. I'm not saying I would have known what the ninjas would have sounded like or would have been saying, but it just didn't seem like it to me.
We're going into overtime here, but we got one more thing I want to talk about. There's been some news. The XFL, as we know it, had died a second time due to the new normal, the unprecedented times. Now more than ever, we need football back. And not all heroes wear capes, Linda, but this one hero is hard as a rock. The Rock, along with his business partners, have purchased the XFL. This may be one of the biggest financial moves in the history of his life. I mean, because if this thing pays off for him, he's paying $15 million. That's what they're paying to buy XFL. If this thing goes again, I mean, that league could be worth hundreds of millions.
10 millions.
10 millions.
Yeah. No, I was very excited when I saw that headline. I contacted you right away, and I was like, hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Tremendous. But no, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say that I was a fan of the XFL back in 2001, and I was out in Las Vegas thinking like, oh, I wonder if I could possibly catch an XFL game. And then, anyways, I digress. I was just thinking back about that 30 for 30 and watching the XFL and how it just became very wrestling-esque with, just being a pro sport, becoming a part of pretty much Raw, pretty much, or WWE as a whole at that time. But I was excited for, what would have been the season this year, obviously in the new normal.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, yes. I enjoyed the season.
I would like to have seen more, but I mean, it was really exciting. I think that obviously The Rock is a very, very smart man, very great businessman. Obviously, anything he touches is gold, and I honestly think that this has a shot. I mean, I think just off, people knowing it's his product, that it'll get more people to tune in. Look how well he's doing just with the Titan games,
Right, exactly. And, that's kind of the new normal. Oh, my God, I did it. We made it through this whole show. But that's kind of the new normal, prominent athlete buying a chunk. I mean, for those that don't know outside of our area, Aaron Rodgers, two-time MVP for the Green Bay Packers, is a part owner of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Right.
So I'm interested. Like I said, I was into this season. We had a group of guys that all just, we looked at the league and said, let's just pick a team and we'll follow that team and we'll trash talk each other. We didn't do fantasy, but we all had teams. I had Dallas. and I had, guys like Landry Jones was my quarterback. So I was interested, and obviously they lost the season due to the COVID, but I'd love to see it come back. I don't know how it's going to come back, but I'd love to see it come back. And, WWE did the right thing, and they made their stockholders happy by selling off a dead product. Even though WWE, technically, wink, wink, only owned portions of that league. That it was separate. Vince had his portion, and then WWE had their portion. So who knows? Overtime. Wow, that's 2 days in a row. We went long yesterday, long time, if you will, and we went long time today as well. Linda, we got to try not to make this a habit. We got to, just make you a special attraction because you bringing the heat on Mondays. Sometimes you're bringing the heat on Tuesdays now as well.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la, indeed. So for Linda Kay, I'm the man they call Meathead. Thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.